Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be doing a faction talent tree guide and how to level up your faction talent so that you can get as many double buff tiles as possible for your different factions with the fewest talent orbs possible. So there are going to be different arrangements that you can run, and for example there is a way to run even getting one, like a double buff tile on one of the factions at only when you get 3,205 total talent orbs. It is possible, but the setup that I'm going to talk about in this video is going to wait until you get 3,465 talent orbs to get your first double buff tile, because that is going to set you up for basically really optimally then getting two other factions to the two buff tiles, and then even the third, which is eventually what your game plan in the end game, that is what you're going to be shooting for. And so I think if you go for this setup I'm going to talk about, it's just going to be better for your progress. It might delay obviously your first double buff tile, but it would only delay it by 1 or 2 days or a bit of AFK stage progress. So I think this is the optimal one, but there are different versions, just keep that in mind. And all the credit for these like calculations of the number of talent orbs goes to Cam from the AFK Analytica Discord server. He made a really nice post about this, and I'll leave a link to the AFK Analytica Discord in the description of this video. Okay, so the number one thing you're gonna have to do is decide which faction talent trees will you want to eventually get to the double buff tile. So in my recommendation, first of all, you have to analyze, do you have Freesto, Tilly, and Scarlita all built up for the Celestial Hypogeans? If you have them all built and invested, then definitely you're going to want to go for the Celestial Hypogean tree. That team is key for AFK stage pushing, and of course you could even run it effectively in Supreme Arena, defenses and offenses. And the Celestial Hypogean tree is insane. It is very strong and very powerful, and if you have those heroes, you can make very effective use of it. For me, for example, my Celestial Hypogean tree is the one I'm going to least invest into because I don't have Tailian built yet. Like eventually I'm planning to build her, but she's just Epic Plus right now. So there's no use of me going into the Celestial Hypogean tree. So that's just something to mention. And then the Graveborn tree, overall, this is not a very effective tree to do. It doesn't help you with AFK stage pushing. It doesn't help you with boss battles other than the Plague Creeper Primal Lord. So if you're a Plague Creeper, like you start day 1 and the Plague Creeper is now destroyed, like for my server, then no need to go in Graveborn. This should be not one of your priorities. If you're still like if you join the new season late and now you're still attacking Plague Creeper and you want your Graveborn tree, then by all means you can go for it for the double buff tile. But after that you can reset and not prioritize it. In my opinion, the Lightbearers, Wilders, and Maulers are going to be the key factions that a lot of people will want to run. For AFK stage pushing, definitely the Iron Almas team with the Wilder faction is very powerful, and there are even some AFK stages which will rely on the Mauler faction, for example Odie, Smokey type teams, sometimes with Freesto as well. And for Lightbearers, this is good for Battle Drill's boss damage, which, I mean, it's arguable, is Battle Drills even an important mode or not? Like, it's the maps have been pretty easy. As long as you're actively attacking, you don't need to fully optimize for this, and you can get the 500 diamonds rewards. But I think also in future boss content, potentially Lightbearers will be effective. Maybe the Shell Brute that's coming up, and also for your Supreme Arena defense, maybe. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to show you setting up to get to the double buff tiles on Lightbearer, Wilder, and Mauler. Okay, so the way you're going to want to do this is you're going to upgrade all 10 points onto the 3 factions that you're going to eventually plan to get to the double buff tile. And this is useful because it will cause you to then invest as little as possible into the factions which you're never planning to use. Like for example, Graveborn, Celestial Hypogean, I'm pretty much never really planning to use. I mean, I have enough talent orbs, I'm going to be able to level up one of them as well. And I'll choose Graveborn for that because I want to also like do well for the legend trials, and the main factions are going to help you in the legend trials. The Celestial Hypogean doesn't help you in the legend trials, and like I mentioned to you guys, it's just that I don't have the Celestial Hypogeans built up. So 35 talent orbs for the small nodes, 90 for the skill upgrades, and this is why you're going to see after we're done upgrading all of these to 10, you're going to see how we prioritize like upgrading on the other 2 trees to minimize the cost for us. Now in total cost you'll need to get to 17, so your first double buff tile, and also this arrangement, you're going to need 3,465 talent orbs. So you can calculate by clicking the upper right talent orbs and then also clicking the reset button and adding them together. For example, we have 1,220 added to 7,575. That is in total 8,795. Something like that, and that is going to be your total number of talent orbs, and you can then see, do you meet the requirement, which is 3,465 to get your first double tile in this arrangement. And later on I'll talk about there are possibilities of getting the double buff tile a little bit earlier, like for even 200 less talent orbs. But then your setup is not going to be as optimized for future stages and future double buff tiles, and you'll have to reset a little bit later. Okay, now is the important part. This is really important. Pay close attention. So I'm going to go for 6 in the Greyborn tree, and you're going to do all of these sheep nodes for sure, and then you're only going to activate one of the skills, for example, the one on the left here, and then you're not going to activate the other skill and make it symmetrical. You're going to activate the cheapest one, which is this, 6, and we're done. Now for Celestial Hypogean, even easier, you just activate all of the small nodes, because in total you need 40 talents in order to unlock the next stage. So this is your base setup for eventually going on to getting the 3 double buff tile as quickly as possible onto your factions, and I think that's a big priority for a lot of people. So we're all set up. Now we're going to decide, okay, let's say Lightbearer is going to be, I don't know, Lightbearer should not be, Wilder probably is going to be your first run. Okay, so now we're going to begin activating. Now only level up one side of the tree, because you do not need to activate all of the different talents here in order to unlock the buff tile. You just have to unlock one of the previous nodes in order to unlock it. And so all we have to do is level up one side of the tree. I usually opt for the left side because that offers more offensive stats, but it doesn't really matter. You can go for either side. Just pick one. Okay, and there we have it. Now if you take a look at how much was required, 3,465. That is how much will be required in order to get your first double buff tile. Now, if you're trying to plan to then get your next double buff tile as fast as possible, let's say you use Maulers in Supreme Arena, or you use Lightbearers in your battle drills, and you really care about battle drills, you want to get that double buff tile quickly, then now what you do is you don't level up anything more in the Wilder tree. Like the Wilder upgrades here would help you for like AFK stages, it would give them stats, a bit of a skill upgrade, but the double buff tile is more important if you really prioritize on another faction. So then you're going to upgrade one side of the Lightbearer tree too. Let's say you want to upgrade that once you have enough talent orbs, or you can just gradually over time keep upgrading it, and then you're going to have your second buff tile, and then this is going to be in total, this is going to cost you 4,765 to get 2 double buff tiles with an optimized arrangement for going for 3 buff tiles. And now you're going to be able to go for your third buff tile, and let's say that, and that's going to be Maulers because we already planned it out. And you're going to level up only one side of the tree. Again, we're leveling up the left side, although maybe for Maulers the right side is better because you want the tankiness on them. But anyway, in total, that is going to be 3 double buff tiles activated at 6,065 talent orbs. So your talent orbs are earned through 2 ways, AFK stage progress as well as upgrading your resonating levels by 10 levels. So the higher you push in AFK stages, the higher your overall resonating level, the more of these talent orbs you will have. But these numbers, just keep them in mind. This is exactly how much you need to get to these 3 double buff tiles, like 6,065. This is the overall cheapest way you can get to having 3 factions with the double buff tiles. Okay, now you're going to decide, okay, what do you want to do next? So for me, I don't know. I think, honestly, I don't know what I want to do next. We also need to think about activating stage 3. That's another kind of priority. But from this position, you can go for 4 double buff tiles. For example, if I go for 4 double buff tiles, I would probably do it on Greyborn, and it would help me a bit in the Legend Trials. The other option is for you to try and prioritize upgrading to stage 3 and just keep these 2 double buff tiles and be happy with them. And then for that, you can upgrade. For example, you can do another setup, which I did. There's a setup which will allow you to unlock stage 3 as early as possible, and I want to show that to you. So that setup is going to be getting 20 on 3 of the factions you care about, and then getting 12 and 8 on the 2 factions you don't care about. In total, that is going to add up to 80, and you need the 80 talents in order to unlock stage 3. That is one of the cheapest ways to unlock stage 3. However, by doing that, you're going to miss out on getting the double buff tile arrangement on earlier. So now you need to decide, do you care more about your 4th double buff tile, or do you care more about unlocking stage 3 to further upgrade your major factions? So for me specifically, in my opinion, I would prefer upgrading at least my Wilders and my Maulers because I use them in Supreme Arena. I think it's pretty important for me. And also I use Wilders in AFK stage pushing. And now what I'm planning to do is further upgrade my Wilder talent into stage 3 with the talent essence I have now that we've reset the Graveborn tree. So from this position, we still need 13 more talents in order to unlock stage 3. We have 2001. Well, I have a lot of talent orders because I have a high resonating level as well. Okay, let's plan out the double buff tile arrangement in the 4th. I'll just do it just for the sake of the video. Upgrading all of this. Can we get this one to 17? But this is kind of like a mix and match between unlocking stage 3 and also trying to get your 4 double buff tiles. Because if you want to get your 4 double buff tiles optimally, then you're not going to want to upgrade just like I did the Wilders and Maulers up to level to 20 faction talents. You're going to want to skip out on that. Okay, so in total, this is going to be 4 double buff tiles. We need 2 more talents, and we're going to be able to do it pretty effectively. And actually, I think the cheap way is 70-70, because here's 90 plus 30, which is 90-30 is 120, 70-70 is 140, and at least they're going to be in trees that we care about, which are Graveborn and Lightbearer, which we use. Okay, and then you unlock stage 3. So that is one option. Basically, this is probably, again, like the optimized option if you're just leaving one faction talent tree in the dust. This is the best way to leave one in the dust, just having these really cheap nodes upgraded, not even going any further than that, and then saving all of your talent ores for the other trees. And even right now, we have a little bit left over that we would be able to upgrade, for example, this one, and actually even one more stat here. Okay, so I specifically have enough for this, but yeah, this shows you like one of the ways of getting stage 3 unlocked, but also being like optimal with your allocation of talent orbs. Okay, now with the stage 3 unlock, we're going to decide which ones to go for. Usually this middle skill upgrade is going to be the best for your team, and it provides you something really valuable. The other thing is then you're going to have to decide, do you prefer the left-sided skill or the right-sided skill? And I think for Wilders specifically, you care a lot about the damage. So these small nodes are going to be 30 talent essence. Talent essence you will earn every 10 stages starting from 960 AFK to 970, 980. You're going to earn 15 talent essence each stage you clear. And so it's going to be a slow acquisition of these talent essences. There's no other way to earn them. And this skill costs 60, the side skills cost 50, the small nodes cost 30, and this new skill effect, which is one of your major upgrades, is going to be 210 talent essences. So one option is for you to just wait until you have enough and upgrade this, because this gives you a big, it's a big upgrade for sure. However, usually the recommended route, like I'm just going to upgrade this for right now. We can always reset it in the future if we want to get that ASAP. Yeah, might as well upgrade this. It's just extra stats. So for the Celestial Hypogene Tree, now I'm going to talk specifically about their Stage 3 upgrades. Stage 3 for Celestial Hypogene Tree, you're going to want to unlock this, the right and left skills, because the middle skill is just recovering health, which is not as powerful for your team. You would much rather prefer the increased stun duration of the light buff tile effect and the increased true damage, and that's usually the route that people take. But definitely this new skill effect is super powerful, so when you have enough talent essences to go all the way down, which is going to be 30, 30, 60, 60 plus 60, 120, 120 plus 210, 330. 330 talent essences can take you all the way down the middle tree and unlock all of these 4 nodes and get the new skill effect. But you're going to need to have 330 for that. Right now we have 260 plus 10, which is 270. So we're still like quite a ways away from that. So that's just another thing to keep in mind for your account. But yeah, like I mentioned, if you want to get stage 3 unlocked as quickly as possible, go for 20 in 3 of your faction talents. For example, like the ones we chose, Lightbearer, Wilder, Mauler, go for 20 in them, and go for 12 and 8 in the other 2. So 8 meaning you're going to unlock everything except for this new skill effect and then that final upgrade. So you're going to unlock up until these 2 sides. That's going to be 8. And then for 12, you're going to unlock everything in stage 1. And in stage 2, you unlock just the first 2 nodes. That is the cheapest way of getting the stage 3 unlock. 20, 20, 20, 12, and 8. And 20 in the ones you care about, which is still pretty optimized, like, because really realistically speaking, you're probably not going to want more than like 3 double faction buff tiles and maximum strength. If you want 4, then you can go more for this strategy, like we said, getting all 4 to 17 before, but then your stage 3 unlock will be delayed. So that's just the thing to keep in mind. So overall, hopefully this is helpful for you guys. In my opinion, I think if you don't have the Celestial Hypogenes, like I mentioned, for Eso Scarletitilian build, then I think you should pass on the Hypo Celestial tree and go for the Wilders and invest into stage 3 for the extra stats. It will help you for the AFK stage pushing. Similarly, Maulers will also help you, because once you get to this talent stage formation, basically either you're going to run Celestial Hypogean on a team, Wilders on a team, or Maulers on a team. These are the 3 key teams you run, and so if you have investment into these faction talents, it will help you for those talent stages. And Wilders overall is usually the most used run with the Almas Arden Iron team. So anyway guys, that is going to be it for this video. Also, not to mention, for Supreme Arena, I really like Wilders. I think it's one of the strongest buff tiles, making your prime carriers unaffected. Even Maulers as well. The prime carriers are unaffected, and you get a really powerful skill effect when you can upgrade here. But just keep in mind that this is more of a PvP oriented one. I mean, for AFK stages, probably the Wilder upgrades would make more sense. So yeah, but it is a really strong effect. Immune to a fatal blow. It's like that artifact from the honor jewel. Anyway guys, hopefully this video was helpful, and good luck upgrading your faction talents. And I didn't go into depth of like which skills are the optimal to be picking, but this was more just about your specking to try and get for the lowest talent orb cost, as many different upgrades on your account. And like I said, I recommend just from the beginning setting up so that you can go for 4 or 3 double buff tile comms, meaning you go for 10 10 10 in the 3 that you're going to be choosing, and then 6 and 4 in the other ones, because overall, once you get to a later stage and you want that 3rd double buff tile, that is going to be the optimal like arrangement. So anyway guys, thanks for watching. That is going to be it for this video. Just one final thing to mention is that if you want to rush the 1 double buff tile as quickly as possible, it is doable once you have 3,205 talent orbs. That's like 250 or so cheaper than the setup that I showed. And the way to do it would be having 888 in the 3 ones that you don't care about as much, and then 6 in the final one, and 10 in the one that you're going for. So for example, all 10 from the light bearers, if that's the one you want the double buff tile up first. For the wilders, you would have 8 not getting the major new skill effect, because that's the expensive one. So you just stop here for 3 more factions, and then for the 3rd faction you just have 6. And like we said, you're going to upgrade the 4 base nodes, and then 1 skill, and then that other cheaper node, and then you're going to have 888, which is 24, plus 6 is 30, and then 10 from your main is 40. And then you're going to unlock the stage 2 and be able to move on. So anyway guys, thanks for watching. That's going to be it for this video. And I hope this was helpful, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video. And if you want to join my AFK Journey Discord server or ask me any questions, feel free to join, because I check that regularly. You can at me and we can chat about anything in that. So thanks for watching guys. I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.